Good. 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 Oof. Oof. That's a high fucking Q right there, boys. That is a that is a high fucking Q. Now can we put on very high? Now what happens? Better. Better. Good. Still 60. Awesome. That's a fat Q. Gary, yo, my God, get Discord. I miss you, bro. Where have you been? Let me pop in. Let me pop into the stump. Bruh. Bro. That hurts. That hurts my heart. Oh, at least we're slowly ticking down. Slowly. Slowly but surely. So, bitches. Fuck you, Mister. I don't like going to the dentist, so I'm gonna wait a year and a half. Yo, is anyone playing New World? Buddy? Anyone playing New World? I'm watching, dude. I'm watching. I don't know how to play Kaisa. Whatever whatever the thing is that like shoots missiles out of your back. I think your Q. Hover over your Q. What's that say? Yeah, that one. So, I'm trying to log into my old lady on New World, and I'm fucking 1900 in Q. How far are you guys in this? Ah, as did you see what happened with the Gabby Petito case today? Did you see what happened with the Gabby Petito case today? They found that his parents bought a burner phone, and they bought two burner phones at an AT&T, and they had one, and the FBI confiscated that one. So they think that he also has a burner phone. So they're trying to get into the phone to find the phone number that's been calling it, so that they can like triangulate it off of like cell towers and shit. But one thing that tells them is he's planning on being somewhere where there is cellular service. So a lot of people were thinking he was like planning on going like up into the Appalachians, and they don't think that's the case now. What? True. True. Oh, uh, why do queue times take so long? Why? Why? I've been on for let's see. How long since I switched this? About 15 minutes. About 100 people. And so I've got 1850 to go. So we'll say that's going to be 18 more times that I got to move 100 people. So 18, let's say 400 people an hour, right? So I'm gonna be here for like 5-6 hours. Although I feel like as it gets later, it's an East Coast server, so people are gonna start logging on. It wasn't last night when I logged on at like 11:30. There were only like 100 people in queue. Well, you guys are on West Coast, right? Okay. Well, there's only East or West Coast. But the West Coast servers, because that's where most of the streamers are, every single West Coast server has a queue of over 10,000 people. At least. Some of them have like 20 to 30,000. I was like, there's that many people playing one video game right now. That's insane. Insane. Um, that could be true, but I don't. That'd be kind of silly. I feel like, why would you do that, John? John with none. John, what have you been up to today? How goes it? John, you gotta come over to my YouTube, bro. What does that mean? What is Truth and Reconciliation Day? That sounds bad. That sounds scary. Oh, do tell. Oh yeah, yeah, assimilation, yeah, gentrification, basically. Oh, you know what? Now that you say the graves, like now that yes, that does sound familiar. I have heard about this. Kind of like World of Warcraft. Like so rather than actually like fixing the problem and like, paying their female employees like the right wages, they've been taking they've been taking all of the paintings of women in the game and turning them into paintings of fruit. It's just yeah, no, I'm dead serious. It's the silliest fucking thing in the world. Yeah. So yeah, like overcorrecting things that didn't really need to be corrected, but like not actually addressing the actual problem. Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. That's exactly what I was about to say. Um, from Native Americans to African Americans. Yeah, well, don't even say African Americans anymore. Like the black community, like basically the same thing. Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. I feel like in in the U.S. something that I was listening to about yesterday. Um, that you bring up that your indigenous friend felt that way about it, like that he doesn't even feel right about it. Something that I feel like is maybe similar in the U.S. is like, um, even like black people not understanding or not like knowing their history and like how shitty things were for them because we've assimilated so much that we've basically like shut that out of our education and stuff. So even black people, if their parents aren't like telling them about it, then they don't know either.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I
My
know.
Yeah.
opinion, as
Oh,
far as as far as I'm concerned, they can never overcorrect enough. So if that's something that they're going to implement and they're going to make people do, fine. If I'm a white male in this world, if that's something that I have to do to make someone else feel comfortable, wanted, or needed, 100% I'm going to fucking do it. I don't care if I have to do it at the start of every class.
I agree. I just think that there are better
I
ways. That's all I'm saying.
understand that
It's
it's dumb, but I understand that it's dumb, but it's like one of those things of to make up for it, sure,
mm,
fine. If this
Yeah.
makes people feel more comfortable, fine. But like, there's a point where it does get to ridiculous levels where you're asking people to do, things every single day, and that's where it gets a bit stupid. But yeah, as says, like, have history months. It's like what the LGBT movement have done over the years. Started off as riots, parades, all that kind of shit, and now it's a monthly celebration where it's celebrated on a particular day at a particular time. And although yes, it bleeds into the rest of the year at the moment because it's still a talked about topic, you've got to remember that pretty much every right, every minority, everything like that is going to go down the same route as what the LGBT right have started. So the sooner that they get down that road and the sooner that they get acknowledgement for it, the sooner that everyone can just live in fucking harmony as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I totally get that. I just feel like right now it's more of a alleviate the white guilt
Yeah,
versus
I know. And that's
No,
not
like
the
a
way that
definitely.
celebration.
Definitely.
but that's what I'm saying about the over indoctrination of it.
Mm.
Like, if you start to over indoctrinate things, then you kind of take away from what it actually means because
Yeah.
people start to get bored of it or say it every single day. Um, Either that or it becomes like what's the term? Like a brainwashy thing. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to be offensive here, but that's what America does with the national anthem and the, celebrate your military and all this stuff.
Yep.
That's what that is. It's just a country laying on this stuff thick So then it
Mhm.
cements, and then before you know it, generations down the line, these things are cemented in. It's the same with the fucking UK. Like, all our parliaments are fucking wood-panelled buildings built, decades ago that have rich toffs running the countries. You know what I mean? Like, it's the
John,
same in every
if we do, I
Yeah.
don't know about it.
Well,
And
I completely
that's
agree
part of the
with you on
problem.
this, Rox, and I appreciate getting your insight, not only being from a foreign country, but also of your persuasion. Not many people know that my wife is a Black African American, and we talk about these things quite often. And one of the things that we constantly talk about is the fact that you actually have to start having these conversations and
Mhm.
actually actively try to not be racist.
Yeah.
It's not enough just to not do racist things. You
Yeah.
have
You
to
have to be anti-racist.
change. Yeah.
But also, another thing that you've got to remember right now is that I wouldn't have even probably known about half the shit that we're talking about if Az hadn't have brought that up. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, I
Yeah, fair enough.
read one news article about it. That's fair, but like, I didn't know that they were doing that in colleges. I didn't know that they were started that kind of process or that they were doing that kind of recovery. And as someone from outside of Canada, I like to see that. But I know that obviously within the borders, it feels like overcompensation, and it feels like you're being asked to do it all the time.
Yeah, I'm.
But,
There
you know,
are
the
like
message
other good things. Sorry.
eventually, sorry.
No, 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 no. I'm sorry. They like a lot of companies have started almost like a committee, which
Oh, like
again is
pride washing. So this happens with Pride. Is that where they just like stick Pride logos all over things, basically?
like
Yeah,
From a
kind of.
idea.
They don't
like
know what
having
to do, but they want to be inclusive.
Yeah.
yeah
It's
they like
what
it's like
Yeah.
about
bringing somebody
Pride
onto the council. Yeah, like I know Crimson was telling me like at his work he was basically like asked to be a part of this um committee or whatever to if they have, like what should we do to do this? Like what is your
Yeah.
opinion? And then just having a voice. Um so I guess, like that's good too. But like the thing that like just irks me about these things a little bit is like yes, in all these communities, like you want to make sure that everybody is respected and has their voice and stuff like that. But also like I feel like sometimes segregating people more is not necessarily like the best thing. Like it's
Yeah.
it's just, we want
Um,
unity, not necessarily like
can I
yeah,
can
all
I
the
tell you
comments.
a very short story?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, this is an interesting
Now,
conversation. I apologize. I'm
so
pausing the episode for this again. Sorry.
so when I worked for the YMCA, I did a project where I got to meet like basically people that were in the same career as me from all over the world, which was fucking awesome. And the guy that came from the US called Andy was from the Sioux YMCA and like the Native Americans. And the Sioux YMCA worked with the schools, um, basically substitute teaching classes and stuff to allow teachers to have extra time to like mark papers or take a day off or whatever they needed. And while they were in there doing the lessons, or when they were doing like PE, like physical education, the kids would line up in order of color because that's how their teachers organized them. When classes were
Oh,
oversubscribed, they would basically line them up from darkest to lightest, pick the middle two.
what?
What
That
the
was the
fuck?
most equal way to solve the problem. Do you know what I mean? That's the world that still exists, and that's why these things are implemented. And I just I'm always gonna advocate for education about it. Like, so
Oh,
the
I
more
100% agree.
but that's what I mean is that like as much as it pains me, and I totally fucking understand when things get annoying. At the same time, I 100% understand, and I know you do too. But
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, I'll always play devil's advocate in these conversations, and I'll always stick up for it.
No,
Well,
I
you're one
wholeheartedly agree.
handsome devil, you.
So what
It's
I
your
want to know
friend.
is as I think like something that's interesting compared to what's going on like in America right now. So do you guys have a lot of people that are just openly against that? That are like, when that's brought up in like say like school board meetings or things like, are there people that come in and are like angry or upset about that? Because we right now in America there's a big uh I don't know, like a hot topic essentially
Yeah,
around critical race theory, which is the basically the education of talking about like the legal implications and societal implications of how slavery has not ended, since slavery ended. It's been perpetuated through legal issues, social justice issues,
Hmm.
policing issues like down the line. And so it's been talked about teaching this in schools, and people are just vehemently against it. Like people will show up in school board meetings and like they're foaming at the mouth to make sure that this is not taught to their children.
For no other reason that it's race. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing, is that it's for no other reason that
Mm-hmm.
than it's race.
Yeah.
Like
Which
it's fucking insane.
I think that's ridiculous. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like I haven't really seen anyone or any company that like meeting wise or whatever, like even at Microsoft, they obviously like started making all these committees for every community. Like right before I left, there was like blacks at Microsoft, we call it BAM, and like Asians at Microsoft, and like all this like different communities for people to talk. And uh like through the schools and all of these things, like nobody's like really against this happening. Like everybody's pretty like, yeah, okay, like yes, but it's really shitty. The
Like
only
about
really
time.
big thing that I remember, yeah, the only really big thing that I remember, and I had like opposing opinions on this myself too, but like Canada Day, they made a big fucking deal about how like all these people were like, oh, we want to boycott Canada Day because it's just a per oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for?
Perpetuation.
Thank you. Of like, Canada's treatment of the indigenous community and blah blah blah. Like, and everybody was like, boycott Canada Day, don't do Canada Day things. And I actually talked about this with my friend too, and he like agreed with me. It was even more mad actually, but like Canada Day, okay, yes. Every country has a really fucked up history. Yes, we should
Yeah.
learn about it so we don't repeat our mistakes. We shouldn't treat people like that. Yeah. But why would you try to even turn like a national holiday that's meant more for like the country coming together, and getting their own queen and independence and whatever. That was like a big like country unite. So why would you not focus on that and try to like just, you know, spice it up, I guess, with more positive of instead of being like, you know what? Put Canada Day. It's my favorite goddamn holiday. Like I was so fucking mad. I'm like, you bitches, I'm gonna still goddamn celebrate the fucking national pride that I have because I'm happy to be a Canadian. And yes, we have done some fucked up things, but they're trying to fix it. At least acknowledging, it's getting better slowly. Yeah, that was like a hot button issue, I remember.
Yeah,
Other than that, not really.
like Scotland's a prime example. Like Scotland's just been shit on by every other country ever. Like everybody forgets that Scotland was the
We're
first
having a
country that
discussion.
England invaded. We were the first country that they colonized. We were our own country until like the 1400s, until the Romans arrived, marched up, got as far as they could, and then we're like, no, fuck this, we're going home. And then England attacked when Scotland was like had just been attacked by Rome, so we were fucked. And the thing is that as the independence rally and stuff rallies on for a second time for a second independence, the majority of the country is now wanting to pull away because it's not about national identity. Loads of people are scared that like the SNP, because it's the Scottish National Party, it's the same as the fucking, if you want to put it this way, the same as the Nazi Party. They were a nationalist movement. where it's not about the politics, it's about something bigger. It's where everybody's voting for something because something needs to change. And it happens on both sides. Like, look at America. America voted in Obama, and then as a retaliation, well, not a retaliation, but as a like
No,
thing
I would
back,
think retaliation. Yeah, like
Obama,
that's a major part of it.
like retaliated with Trump, and it was like, look, we can vote harder. And then it happened again. They voted harder, and then Biden got in. And the thing is that Biden isn't even good. Don't come for me, anyone. Biden isn't a good president, but he's just fair.
No, I totally agree. He every single one of our elections is the lesser of two evils. It's never the person you want to actually vote for.
Like, the Scottish National Party is not a fucking good party. The Green Party would be the right party to rule Scotland. But everybody understands that the SNP is the way to push forward to get a goal achieved.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Scotland, like, in every fucking election is completely yellow. Because it's just like, we're fucked. We're done with it. We want
So
to
it's like
step away.
taking it. Sorry.
It's like taking ownership of that thing. And then, but the thing is, we've got to understand as well, there's been loads of conversation in Scotland at the moment about, we have to remember that the majority of slavers or owners of land in America were Scottish. And there's so many streets in Scotland named after slavers. And basically, there's been a huge debate just now, is that these streets have been named for, you know, since the 16th, 17th century, because it's family names.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're considering changing them. And as far as I'm concerned, there's been loads of people saying, no, it's changing history. You can't do that. Like, whether we should be teaching about the badness rather than changing the sign. Do you know what I mean? Putting a plaque up under it saying this man was a slaver. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are saying that, whereas I'm like, no, fuck it. As someone who hates everything to do with slavery, everything that slavery was, I don't want to look up and see the name of a slaver.
Yeah, it's almost like they're being rewarded for it still.
Exactly.
If I was a person of like a particular race who had been, you know, beaten down upon, I wouldn't want their name glorified above me every time I walk to work, for example. So, like, fuck it. Get rid of the past. Who gives a fuck about it? As long as it's justified, there's enough votes, it's done fairly and in a democracy, it doesn't matter. That's why democracy work.
Yeah.
You know what I
There's
mean?
museums to learn about history. You know, there's school to learn about history. A
People
street sign
will
is not a place to learn about history.
About them. Do an exhibition where you just basically gather all the stuff that made them famous, all the stuff that they had made of themselves, put it in a fucking room, and just say, this is a slavers museum. All these men were evil men.
Yeah.
Come, pay money, and we'll make sure that the money goes to it never happening, towards it never happening again. You know what I mean? Do that. That's what the future of fucking, you know, all these race wars and stuff is.
Yeah.
It's
very interesting hearing, you know, the like this is the same thing is like happening here with all the Confederate statues and all the like people like wanting to be able to wave Confederate flags and exactly it's like why
if you want to go and see them, but don't put them in front of public fucking government buildings where that's someone's rights that is being overshadowed by some guy that used to carry a fucking whip. Like, get the fuck out. Get it in a park where it can be viewed by teenagers on boring fucking high school visits. And here was a slaver. Blah, blah, blah. At the statue. Do you know what I mean? I want it to fucking rain every time those people visit those fucking statues and have to stand
until I think it was last year. I think it was.
I'm passionate about these things, guys. Don't get me started.
Good. Until like last year, there was I forget what state it was, either Missouri or Mississippi. I think it was Mississippi. Part of their flag, their state flag, still had the Confederate flag baked into it, and it was like, why? And they were getting so upset when people were like, no, we need to change it, and people were like, no, that's our history. And it's like, no, like it's a bad history. You should be happy to want to change it.
Yeah, it's like when they changed all those team names and stuff too.
Oh yeah, the Washington football team is now the Redskins, or the Redskins is now the Washington football team. But there's like 3 other teams in the fucking NFL that are named after what are the other ones? I forget.
Chiefs.
The
and,
Chiefs. Yeah, exactly. And I guess like Redskins is like, cuz that's like a racial slur essentially.
Actual racial slur.
Yeah. But then like you look at baseball, you've got the Atlanta Braves, the Padres, the
Why is
Cleveland
Braves bad?
Indians.
Oof.
Do I know a great example of this?
Hmm.
Every British passport has the royal crest on the front, and the royal crest has a lion on one side that represents England, and chained to the ankle of the lion is the unicorn, which represents Scotland, but the unicorn is
Oh my
chained by its
God.
neck.
My God, that's fucked.
On the front of every
Holy
British passport,
fuck.
if you look at the front of a British passport, you can literally look at it right now.
There's a unicorn on there?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the unicorn's the Scottish national animal.
It's so fucking cool. Oh my God.
Yeah, but Wales
Have
has
you-
a dragon on their flag, so they got you beat.
So you'll notice that there's a crown
Oh
around
my God.
the lion. Oh, maybe not to the ankle, but it is basically chained to.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Latin. Maybe it's the Latin at the bottom. It's chained to the Latin, and the Latin means something. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, the unicorn that represents Scotland's chained to the.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's totally chained.
It's fucked.
Look at
Like
the
it literally
website.
has like a chain, like basically there's a crown like chain collar around its neck.
Yeah, like I love how it's like the lion and the unicorn. Not really any of the other countries that are in there too. Just that's the most important one. We know that Scotland's under our heel.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's because of the
Fuck.
royalty thing, though. It's like, so the whole reason that happened was, if you ever get a chance, watch the film. Is like Our King or King on Netflix. It's about basically the period in which England took over Scotland, and it explains it all. But basically, there was a king of Scotland, and the king died, and there was no heir. So the King of England came up to basically choose which royal house was going to take over the crown of Scotland, and then basically just took it for himself and said that he would kill anyone that was going to take it away from him. And that was how it. None of the houses wanted to fight back because none of them were powerful enough on their own. But at the same time, they all wanted the crown, so none of them wanted to fight together. That's how Scotland got taken over by England. With no war.
There
Type
is
in- Just do me a favor, type in the King. I just want to, like, the King trailer or something like that. The King trailer, was it? No, it's not that one. The King, Our King. Oh no, there, Outlaw King. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have seen.
Yeah. Fucking amazing film. So good. If you like Highlander, you'll like that.
Fucking high. You want to talk about a brutal movie? Like, dude throws a fucking broadsword into a guy's chest.
uh,
But it can also be a weapon.
What's that guy's name?
I'm done with running and I'm sick of
I
hiding.
don't know.
Power is making decisions. And whatever course
He was in
you are
Star Trek.
charting,
Yeah, that's what I was
choose
gonna
you,
say.
my husband.
Chris
Oh yeah.
We need to unite
Pine?
Scotland.
Chris Pine, that's it.
That's fine.
That's
Robert
the one.
Bruce is an outlaw.
Yeah, this is like pretty much
And
the
in
story.
a woman who would give shelter to him or his ranks is to be executed without trial. The people are desperate for justice.
I serve Robert Bruce. Join us to free our
It's so fucking like
Ooh, I just got
we
goosebumps.
fucking,
Our
we
50 men to
fucking
fight the
hate you,
strongest dog in the world.
William Wallace. If you ever fucking
This is how we do it. Take the land back, castle by castle.
Still a bit beautiful.
We could fight for God,
Always been about freedom.
for country, for family. I do not care. So long as you fight.
If you like Vikings, if you like
Yeah, this looks fucking
Like,
sick.
shit like that. But if you also like underdog films, like it's a fucking such a good underdog film. Oof.
I wanted to put
That looked pretty
this
awesome.
in my message. So I remember
So
which
Babu was talking a little bit about the critical race theory in
Yeah.
schools, and it's gotten even beyond that. I don't know if Temsel knows, but there's a school district down by Portland, south of Portland. I don't remember the name. That just
Newburgh.
yeah, they banned all LGBTQ pride or BLM symbols in classrooms.
What the fuck?
What?
It
So
started out because they wanted to, quote, ban any political symbols or anything. And then, to some people, my identity is political.
yeah, it's a pretty screwed up thing, and I don't know what the heck's going on down there, but by where we live in the Pacific Northwest, there's a lot of trade-off
It's a pretty
between.
screwed
up thing, and I don't know what the heck's going on.
Are you live
I
right now?
saw you looking at it.
I was like, sorry to interrupt you guys. You sneaky.
No, I don't want to talk at all.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on. There's no one watching me.
No, it's pretty messed up because it's censorship on all levels now. You can't even show up to work without somebody telling you you're not allowed to do what you want to do, and that the repression is getting huge, and the political divide here is getting bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys are seeing that. There's just like zero middle ground here in the political spectrum in the U.S. It's insane.
Yeah, very much so.
That's crazy.
There was
Oh
You
my
know,
God.
on the other aspect, I learned that the local university of 20,000 students, I believe it is, that's right up the street from me, they have an all black dorm room hallway. So
What?
it's this floor that they set aside for all black students so that they could congregate together better. And it was actually put on by the local student union and the local African American student union. It was their idea, but again, it's weird implementation. Like,
Yeah.
we're segregating again.
That's a
Yeah.
hard.
And I
See
agree
that-
that maybe they should have a
Because I
space.
don't think we are segregating. I think the whole idea is that people are allowing education of their own societies and culture to survive. And in a world where the borders are getting more open and more open, and as far as I'm concerned, let it be. Because eventually it's going to happen where you can move anywhere in the world and you can go anywhere you want to be and be anywhere you want to be. And right now it's all about money. But the problem is that money will not become an object in a future where everything is automated and jobs are simply engineering and database. Like, in a future where that's the case, the world is going to basically just have to get over itself. Countries are going to have to join unions. And as the world goes forward, it's going to become more like, for example, the European Union or like NATO. It's going to be more joint ventures like that, because that's the only way that they're going to go forward. For example, like the UK, Canada, and Australia is considering it right now. And if they do that, they'll be the strongest power. They'll take over the US as the strongest power in the world. And that'll be a huge shift in America's politics because they're no longer the big guys. People might stop believing all the bullshit that's fed to them, and this bigger power will soon become the more it'll be like the media massive, the media mogul. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'll take over that from the US. If that happens, it's going to force like countries like the US to do the same, get over themselves and create open borders, because jobs aren't going to be aren't going to be a thing. So something's going to crack in the world where governments are going to start paying some form of universal credit. Scotland started already. Do you know what I mean? They're going to start. They're planning to by 2025 to pay. I think it's like a basic flat income of £10,000 a year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's enough for me to survive with no rent for like a year. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Scotland's going to pay that out from the money that they make selling electricity to England, because England have no strategy to get out of, because they built all their fucking windmills in Scotland, and then Scotland are going to be independent, and then we're going to sell all the power back to England. Do you know what I mean? And Scotland's going to start paying its citizens 10 grand a year just for living in Scotland, just for thriving in business or starting your own ventures or opening your own companies, selling online. Like, that's the whole idea. Scotland doesn't have infrastructure for big business. So our main venture is going to be small business, online market, Scottish products. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I know you know movies pretty well, Socks, and I'm sure you've seen Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
Yes. Have
I
you
don't-
not?
Mike Judge is the director.
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
you need to watch it because
Can you
that
send
is
a link to a trailer or
It's
something?
it's insane how much it predicted to like America today. It's insane.
But the-
and what America is becoming.
America in a country where like America was so internalized through the 60s, 70s, 80s. It had spies looking on spies looking on spies. It was paranoid about everybody. Like, I'm not being funny. America caused the world to be the way it is right now because of the stress in which it was trying to be a capitalist, futuristic nation, when at the time socialism was not better off. I'm not going to say so better off because that's a fucking terrible thing to say. But it was working better in the 70s, 80s. But that was because of big business. That was because of big industry. Like, the Russians could get away with having factories with 50,000 people working in it. You know what I mean? Health and safety wasn't a fucking issue. The thing is, as the world moves into, as I say, like automated features, where the majority of jobs or the life, the jobs that are going to be taken by robotics in the future are the jobs that cause high numbers of deaths, fatalities, or is a danger to the person enacting the job. So, for instance, like trucking's under threat right now because truckers drive all over the US, for example, and it's going to be taken over by automation.
Yep.
The thing is that the truckers don't understand is that it's going to make their jobs more lucrative for special loads like gasolines or munitions, or do you know what I mean? Things that have to be driven by someone that is alert, or just sit in the driver's seat while it drives itself.
Yeah.
They're going to have someone in those special munitions.
That's the thing is they don't understand that that's how it's gonna. So they're just like, no, Autumn, you're taking our jobs.
But everybody
Yeah, it's like-
makes money on every level. So the CEOs of the lorry companies make money, the petrol companies make money, the people making the lorries make money if the business keeps going. So it takes one of those to crack to have to change. So for example, like Elon Musk, whether you love him or hate him breaking into the world and saying, we're going to make electric cars a thing. That was enough to break the market. And now like 50% of the cars sold are electric in the world.
Yep.
That's fucking insane.
Mhm.
50%. That's like the amount of fossil fuel that is now saved is like insane. But
Yep.
yeah, we've got to figure out other ways for the lithium batteries and stuff like that. But that's easier mechanics than pulling carbon out of the remaining oxygen we have on a planet that's
Yep.
dying. You know what I mean? But like nobody wants to take that first step, that big leap, and that's where these big multi-billionaires, and that's kind of where the capitalism works. But the problem is that big business should be taxed. So Elon Musk, for example, he doesn't get taxed the amount that he should, but
Mhm.
he uses the money that he should be taxed to forward his businesses.
Yeah.
In theory, he's always fucking broke.
Yep.
Whereas what's happening with the other big businesses, that these big businesses just take money and keep it
Yeah,
and
hoard it.
hold it because it interest. And then when they die, they give it to their inheritance, and then they get given it tax free. So then there's no more tax to pay on it because it was never taken out of their account.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So that's how they get it. They're like their inheritance, and that's what's fucked up about the US.
I
And
think
inheritance.
one of the biggest. I'm a huge
Like,
Elon
biggest
Musk
problem.
fan,
Fix it,
and
and then you've not got a problem.
huh?
It's fucking nuts. Get rid of inheritance tax.
Oh
Everybody
yeah.
plays
No,
a flat
definitely.
rate. A flat rate of like 10%. Just make it 10%. Or even less. Make it fucking 2%. If someone's a multi-billionaire, that's going to be millions going into the economy.
Yeah. Well, so what you were saying about like
Yep.
Elon, like the money that he makes, he's reinvesting into his companies constantly. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna hoard this and invest it. Like he's just investing into himself over and,
the thing
over and
he's
over again.
employing people. He's
Huh.
creating business that didn't even exist.
Yeah, yeah. SpaceX like is number one
Yeah, and
example.
he starts to save government's money because then he's doing like SpaceX,
Yeah,
which is saving the US billions of research dollars, but also it speeds up the process because they don't have to go through the same safety measures.
so before the SpaceX Dragon crew program, US was paying $6.5 million for one seat on a Soyuz capsule. They were paying Russia $6.5 million. Now, with the Crew Dragon, that's a reusable rocket. It's 1.9 million for the for the Falcon 9, and I want to say it's like a little over $500,000 for an entire Dragon crew capsule. So close
can
to
get
2
six-
million.
Usable rockets
Yeah,
that you can keep firing into space
Yeah.
over and over and over again for the
it's
price
insane.
of one on a.
I love space. I like space exploration is like one of my like biggest side hobbies, and I've seen multiple SpaceX launches now and landings. That is the fucking future.
I've
Yep.
made many parts in manufacturing for aerospace, including SpaceX.
That's so
Really?
fun.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I was working out of the San Francisco Bay Area for a while, and
Oh,
a few different companies down there. Aerospace, satellites. Yeah. It's cool to deal with some of those companies and some of the Google projects and things like that, and see what they're doing before the public knows. But yeah, I've got mixed feelings on Elon Musk himself, but I really like what he has done.
Yeah, like the thing is, you don't have to. This is the thing about millionaires as well. You don't have to like the guy to appreciate what he's doing. It's the
I-
filthy
I
minging
got a
million.
chip on my shoulder more than anything that he never hired me at Tesla, but whatever.
Mhm.
I applied there 3 times, Elon. Come on.
Maybe he just
I'm
wanted
voting.
you over at
I'm voting
SpaceX.
Sox for president. Sox for
I'm okay.
president.
No, I'm alright.
Let's go, bud.
No, thank you. I'm alright.
So
Yeah.
stressful.
He's not
No,
American
don't want
born,
that.
so game over.
I don't think he's old enough yet either.
I'm not I'm not going that grey over a 4-year period. Thank you.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's what, I think one thing that in our election process, that's one of the silliest requirements is that you have to be born an American citizen. Literally a country that was founded and built on immigrants.
Yeah.
Like, no, you have to be born here. You can't be from anywhere else.
Yep.
But random question for any American in the room: how many Native American presidents have we had?
0.
Oh,
we literally just had our first black
born in
president.
We did
seems a
have
bit-
one Native American vice president. Of course, he was distinctly responsible for the Trail of Tears. So
Was it Hillary? Was it Hillary that like said that? No, it wasn't Hillary. Who was she's like a New England politician that said she was like 12% Native American.
Well, I mean, Obama had Hawaiian native heritage in him, didn't he?
that?
No, he didn't.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
but that's
It-
what
I
I'm
thought
trying
his
to suggest here is
grandma
that
or something.
that you have to be born in on American soil, but none of the people
Shit.
who have been president, as far as we are aware, are from the bloodline of a Native American, someone who was actually born first on American soil.
Yeah, like the
True.
true Americans.
There's a really good fucking joke by a guy where he turns around and he says about a Bible, and he says about how everything that we do in America is done on a Bible. So if someone is to flip that Bible upside down, does it still matter? Right? And then, for example, if that Bible's back to front and upside down, does that still matter? If somebody gives you
ask Donald Trump in that photo op.
Oh,
if
good lord.
somebody gives you a Chinese Bible, does it still matter that it's in your language? If someone gives you a Braille Bible, does it matter that you can't read it because you're not blind? But does that matter if you're swearing on it?
No,
about if
because most people don't know what the words in that book are.
So what happens if you rip out half
Even
the
the
page?
fucking Catholic Church doesn't
Does
even
it
know.
still
I feel
count?
like.
Does it still count as a swear in a full Bible? What happens if you rip out 75% of the pages? At what point does it all just fall through and everything that it's built on is just completely crumbles? Like, that's what I fucking love about it.
5 years.
Fucking hilarious.
I give it 5 years.
Fucking hilarious. Anyway, sorry, I've been very.
How's the fuel
No.
supply out there in Scotland there? Sucks.
I don't know. I don't drive. Don't need
Yeah,
to.
that's a good thing.
I don't use a car. Anywhere I can get to, I want to go to, I can get on public transport. I'm all right. I don't need a fuel crisis. Thank you.
I think something that's ironic about America swearing on the Bible is there are tons of passages that go over the logistics of buying and selling human beings, like just like talking about like and parts where like it's like make sure to be loyal to your master because a good Christian is loyal, and it's like no I don't think that's nope.
It's not quite how it works.
Well, I was having this conversation, I can't remember with who recently, but I think it was Ronnie maybe. Anyway, we're talking about how like the education system, how are you basing your way of life on something that was created, education hundreds, but like the Bible, like thousands of years ago, where it was
Yeah.
a totally different time, taking it totally different, like, and then, it's a different context for everything that they're talking about. Like, there was a time where people could come into your fucking village and murder everybody, and that was just like a Tuesday. Like, that was like that part of everything. So how do you base your values and your lessons on a world that is basically fantasy almost at this point? You know what I mean?
Also,
Like, you can't.
Nobody takes into account the rewrites of. the
Oh yeah,
biblical-
yeah. Translations, rewrites,
Thousands of rewrites.
books being omitted, and
yeah, there was like things. So the whole thing about the homosexuality, which was really interesting. A man must not lie with another man. The original's like a man must not lie with a boy, aka pedophilia. and it was changed in the 50s.
Hmm.
That was when that was changed, and look at the effect that has had on the world since
Yeah.
the 50s.
When I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there are other mentions in the Bible of homosexuality and it not being a big deal.
Yeah, but
Like,
there's a whole thing about fucking what's his nuts? What's his nuts? The what's the shit?
Give me the story. Give me the story.
One of the disciples that's rumored to have been Jesus's like man friend. in the scene.
Oh my God. I know who you're talking about. It's not
Yeah.
Paul. No.
David, Paul. It's one of the fucking disciples. It's one of the 12 of them, eh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What? Rudolph.
Donner, Dash,
Donner,
oh,
Dasher. I
Sneezy.
think it's Dasher.
Sneezy.
It's Sneezy. Fuck. God damn it.
I know who you're talking about though.
But no. Aye, there's a whole fucking theory, and there's a whole book that was taken out of the Bible because it basically hints towards
Mm-hmm.
Jesus having multiple people that he would lie with. And I'm not being funny, any man that walks around with 12 male friends and has parties and dinners with them every night.
Yeah, man. I
Things get
mean,
rolling.
Jesus, yeah, sure, but he was supposed to be human, you
Ever-
know? Like God
ever
sent
gone
him to
12
earth to be
buddies on a
human.
cold night in a barn.
Exactly. Oh my God. I sent you that video too. I looked it up or whatever. This one.
For these things.
I wanted to hear your opinion on this after it sucks. Watch it one day. It's so good. I learned a lot
Okay.
of those things that you were talking about through that, actually.
Yeah.
Through that video. Namely about the unicorn and the thistle.
Yeah.
So fucking cool. Anyway, sorry. Really random.
Have you still got your thistle?
Mm-hmm.
Did you keep it?
Yeah, I did. I put it somewhere safe and I don't remember where it was. So it's somewhere really safe.
it's even safe from me.
That's fine. No, that's perfect because it'll dry out and it'll stay the way it is. Nothing will fall off or anything if you don't move it about much.
Yeah,
What's
when
this
I
about?
clean up my living room, I'll find it and be like, oh yeah, nice surprise, and then keep it safe. Which is what about?
What's
Unless the cat
a
find it.
thistle? What is
Good
this?
luck if the cats find it.
I put it somewhere
Yeah.
that they wouldn't. It's the Scottish national flower.
Oh, is this like a Buckeye for Ohio people?
I have no
It's a-
fucking idea.
The
Is
fuck
it
is a Buckeye?
like good luck? Is it good luck to hold on
Just
to?
look up a thistle. Just look up a thistle.
I'm looking it up.
We don't.
It's a
go
little
down- we
pink
do
thing.
not need to go down the path. Just type in a thistle. Show them what a thistle
Look
is.
looking
up
at
your
it. It's a
own
little pink
thistle,
thing.
sir.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'll just fuck it. I'm just gonna show you guys this. It's 15 minutes. I'll show you.
Nobody
Bam.
fucking died.
I love John Oliver.
Me too.
Did
I
you guys
like-
see Jon Stewart's getting his own show on Apple TV?
Yep, I did see that.
I'm stoked.
Okay, I'm gonna fact check this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, this coming Thursday,
Nope.
Scotland is facing a major decision.
Is this new?
7 years ago.
Oh.
Fire in the
For the
pipes.
first time in modern history,
get
London could be at
medication
risk of
for that.
losing control.
What'd you say, Sock? Sorry.
I just said fire in the pipes. You can get medication for that.
Of Scotland. It could become its own country.
Yes, it seems like England may lose yet another country. And
Yeah.
look, I'm not saying the sun is setting on the British Empire. Let's just say the restaurant of history is switching to its dinner menu. Now there is a lot to explain here, especially because when most American people think about Scottish independence, they tend to picture this.
They may take our lives,
Yep.
Yep.
And Australia.
never take our freedom.
Oh yes, nothing screams Scottish freedom quite like a millionaire Australian anti-Semite on horseback.
Yeah.
Let me bring you up to date.
Good old Mel. Good old Mel.
Scotland is currently a member of the United
Oh,
Kingdom,
Mel.
which is not a country.
You're so
It's actually
crazy.
a complicated political and economic union. Think of it as an archipelagic supergroup comprised of 4 variously willing members. And to understand why Scotland
Variously willing.
the history of its relationship with England.
For centuries, England and Scotland remained separate and frequently at war. But in 1707, they formed
I
a
love how
single
big
country,
battle.
Great Britain.
Oh, is this
a decision
like
that's been controversial in Scotland ever
It's the
since.
equivalent of LARPing.
reenactments? We have these in America, but they're like Civil War reenactments.
Well, we have them from all the generations. Want World War II? We've got we've got World War II. You want World War I? We were involved. Korean War? Yep.
We actually banned the kilt just because we knew they liked it. And then we chose God Save the King as the UK's national anthem, a song which at one point had a verse referencing rebellious Scots to crush. Although, to be fair, we later realised that was wrong and replaced it with a line about pissing on the Welsh. But 2.5 years ago, it was announced that Scotland would finally get to vote on its independence. And since then, there has been a spirited campaign.
There are 2 campaigns. Yes, Scotland, backed by the SNP,
This is the thing.
Greens, and Better Together.
Okay, for a start, Better Together.
What?
But I'll say the same as John Oliver. For a start, it's interesting because oh fuck, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, but a vote was keep playing. I'll say when I get to it.
No worries. You tell me to pause whenever. I like the history lesson.
When
I'm
you start
listening.
talking about what the results were.
It sounds like what people
What the
say
balance
to convince
was.
themselves to stay in a dead marriage. Look, I'm not saying we're good together, Marion. I'm saying we're better together. Tax-wise, it's preferable to the alternative. Why are you crying, Marion? I'm saying something nice. And if you think their name is uninspiring, wait until you hear their slogan.
No thanks. No thanks.
No thanks.
No thanks.
No thanks is a violently British way to refuse something. That is just one step away from, oh, I couldn't possibly. But what's even more interesting here is who is helping fund these 2 campaigns.
Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling wants Scotland to stay
Oh,
part
God.
of the UK. Rowling
Not rolling.
$1.5 million to the Better Together
Scottish!
Yeah, but that's not really a surprise, is it? She famously
She's
wrote
French!
where a redhead plays
Fuck
sequel
off!
to a
She's
magical
French.
Yes.
Come along, I shall have all the powers, and your brothers can die.
I think her mother was French, her dad was English.
Oh.
Meanwhile, the opposing side has received 80% of its funding from these 2 people.
Jackpot. A Scottish couple scoop £161 million on the lottery, making them Europe's biggest ever winners.
That's right. The pro-independence campaign is predominantly financed by lottery winners.
Yes!
An adorable Scottish
That's the
version
most
of the
Scottish
Coke
thing ever.
brothers. So let's just look at the 2.
What'd you say? There's a Scottish what?
I just said that's the most Scottish thing ever. Like, oh fuck, the country's too poor to have a campaign. Fuck it, we'll pay for it. We won the lottery.
Oh my god. Yeah, 161 million's like, woo, nice chunk
I
of
want
change.
a bit of money on a scratch card, love.
We can take matters
We are having an independence referendum.
We'll run the affairs of this
Alex
country
Salmon's a
better
cunt,
than the
by the way.
people who live and work
Absolute
in Scotland.
dick.
And to be fair, he might be right about that. Scots know how to run a country. Because
He
when
was
got
good
to
at the
choose
time.
national
We now
anthem,
know
they
he was an
selected, and I
asshole.
swear this is true, a unicorn. Who knew you were allowed to do that? Pick a fictional animal. Yeah. America's probably kicking itself for choosing the bald eagle now, aren't you?
The balls
You could
eagle.
have picked a Wookiee in a top hat. Or whatever the Grimace is. Look. He looks like a magic genie granted a wish to Gorbachev's birthmark. Also, for their national flower, the Scots chose a thistle. That is a plant made out of tiny knives and a throwing star. The only flower I like is a flower that could pierce an Englishman's throat. And look,
Everything's a weapon.
There are legitimate reasons for Scotland to want to govern itself. For instance, it's a predominantly liberal country which has frequently been governed by a conservative
Tuesday.
and seldom that divide
What a Tuesday.
than right now when the UK's Prime Minister is David Cameron.
Cameron's problem is that
It's fucking worse. It got worse.
he's seen
How did it get worse from here? My fuck. Oh, these were good times. Totally weren't just as bad.
England, and I'm English. Let me prove this to you. This is a picture of him as a student at Oxford. He's in fucking tails. Now, Cameron says he's desperately embarrassed by that photo, which is why it pains me so much to be showing it to you. Can we get a close-up on his face? Because that is the face of a man who fast-forwards through the servant parts of Downton Abbey. Just... Who cares what's happening downstairs? Let's hope the soup doesn't get cold. In fact, let me show you what an arsehole David Cameron is. One of the biggest issues in the independence debate concerns the fact that Scotland has a surprisingly large amount of oil. But watch how David Cameron responded to a simple parliamentary question about who should control revenues from it.
A poll last week showed that 68% of Scots want oil revenues devolved to Scotland. Does the Prime Minister agree with 68% of Scots, or does he not? If you ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer, I think.
I gotta say, UK politics are the fucking, like, the way they yell at each other, like, it's great. I wish American politics were like that.
Scotland, if you ever watch any of Scotland's debates, the room is empty, usually. If it's about Scotland, the room's empty. Nobody's there to vote. Nobody cares. So the vote doesn't pass. Do you know what I mean? Like,
wow, really?
Ridiculous how it's thingied. And only as of late have like Ireland, Wales, and Scotland.
I'm doing pretty good too, sir.
Kind of work together in
What are you up to?
and like solve these things. And I know that sounds stupid that it's taken that long, but it's like, no, we were like just more oppressed and didn't realize how under the thumb we were until like all these last prime ministers got caught embezzling money. And basically Boris has been like, for example, the whole Brexit campaign was bought by Boris and his pals. The whole COVID-19 relief effort, so like all the machines, everything that was bought through friends of Boris Johnson. So they're basically getting massive cash payments, like overpayments for what they were selling on behalf of the government, because the government's willing to give away the money because they'll make a certain percentage of it back once they're out of office. That's what's happening. That's what's about the politics in the UK at the moment. That's why Scotland wants a way, because we just want to be able to deal with our own shit on our scale. We're a much smaller country than England. We don't need to be part of your big government. Let us have our own little space. We already have our own government that deals with like our health, education, and policing. But they just won't give any other powers because they won't devolve powers back to us, because we signed the powers away in like 1600.
Be right back. Got to switch to mobile, guys.
No worries.
Anyway. Carry on.
Okay.
Sorry if this is boring, by the way.
No, I'm interested. I was just thinking, actually, there's one about Canada too, I remember, and I bet you there's a million about the States. Watch one of each. I like our little conversations. I know we were watching Final Space. I'm sure we'll get back to it.
I love what changed it.
What?
I love what, like, the pause that was right
Oh.
there. John looked hilarious. Oh, that's a good one too.
They looks almost like what's his nuts over there?
David Cameron, like, yeah, they're like opposite almost.
Okay, so let's look at the anti-independence campaign now. Clearly, they had some serious work to do. Unfortunately, their attempts to win hearts and minds involved this controversial commercial targeted at women, featuring a Scottish mother confused by the whole concept of independence, who has just sent her kids off to school.
Best time of the day, this. When they're all out. Nice and quiet. Give you time to think.
Helps you clear your head. Shame it only lasts for 2 minutes. Don't get me wrong. I know how important this vote is. There's not much time left for me to make a decision.
Fuck
There's
is
only
this?
so many hours in the day.
Oh, it's so confusing. It hurts my wee head. I'm just a woman, you know, just a pair of ovaries and some bangs.
Some
The mental
bangs.
capacity to pick from one of two options. Put me down
Oh,
for a
worse.
no and never trust me with an important decision again.
Oh no.
What's crazy about this?
I was giving it such a good Scottish accent at the start.
What?
I was just saying, never mind. I was just saying he's got such a good Scottish accent at the start, and then it just got worse and worse.
About this is that the anti-independent side actually has some legitimate arguments to make. Leaving the UK could potentially have some serious consequences for Scotland.
No fucking shit, Sherlock.
That they risk losing the pound as their currency.
Yeah, they could lose the pound, and that's not nothing. Because if they do, they'd either have to join the currently unstable euro or revert to Scotland's old currency,
Welcome
which
back.
I believe was sheep and threats.
That's fine. We leave, and then they chose to leave anyway.
Why do they hate us?
Say that again.
We didn't choose to leave England, and then England chose to pull us out of the European Union. It's just fucked.
Really? Oh, damn.
But watching this now is hilarious because like everything
Except-
that's happened is like not even. It's kind of making this not funny. You know what I mean? But in a hilarious way. If that makes sense, because it's like actually all fucking came true.
Another great pause as.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
a great picture right there. That's like
What a
pride
smile.
in Scottish man.
And the sheeps is.
3 sheep.
And John's just like, hey, it is what it is.
Oh my god.
And also, while the pro-independence campaign has put a great deal of emphasis on Scotland's oil, there are genuine concerns over how much might actually be left.
Reserves are dwindling. The Office for Budget Responsibility expects the number of barrels produced to decline from 2 million a day in 2012 to just 500,000 in 2040.
And if that's true, that might be a problem. Because if you've ever been there, you will know that solar power is not an option for Scotland.
It actually
so those
is.
are the two sides,
It's a
and with
bad
the vote
joke.
just days away, this
Bad joke. We do have solar power and it works very fucking well. Wind power, wave power. Think about it, John.
Get him!
down to the wire.
This morning, in shock, Brits woke up to headlines like these. Don't let me be the last queen of Scotland. Last stand to keep the union.
Fuck
A new
off!
poll for the UK Sunday Times newspaper
Don't
shows
be the queen. We
51%
didn't give
of
a
Scots
fuck.
plan
Just
to
let us
vote
do
yes
what we
for
do.
Brexit.
And if it comes down to just one vote, we all know
It's
who will be called
simple.
upon to break that tie. Go with your
Still up your castle. We don't give a
You
fuck.
Nancy. You do you.
Yeah, Nancy.
It seems like there is a real
Yeah, why didn't you choose that for your
and
national?
if they do, just so you know, there are going to be
The Loch Ness Monster.
Real, buddy.
everybody.
They might also have to say cheerio to something more symbolic.
That's like the best joke you can make as a Scottish person. Why is it Nancy your national animal? Because it's not real. And then they go, oh, right. And then you're like, yeah, but unicorns are. And
Could ditch the blue and white cross of St Andrews for something that looks like this.
Oh, great. Great. Well, there goes my fucking bedspread, my shower curtain, my wallpaper, and my dog. Unbelievable. We can't do it. But it is not just flags that are a cause for concern. There is also the small matter of this.
The Scottish National Party wants to get rid of the nuclear weapons that are currently based in Scotland and ship them
Yes,
to England, and that would be a
please.
huge problem for the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that would also be a huge problem for everybody because we have nowhere to keep them right now. I mean, I guess we could disguise them as Buckingham Palace guards, but people are going to notice that after a while. And Scotland wants those weapons gone. Their leaders have described them as, and I quote, an affront to basic decency. And this is coming from the
They
land
just
of the
hide
haggis.
weapons in Scotland
A
because it's
boiled
convenient
shit-stomach
and it's
stuffed
nowhere
with
near
organ meat.
their major
It is
cities.
no wonder
Oh my
It's near
that the
God.
our
British
fucking
government
major
is
cities.
suddenly
Thanks.
panicking. They are scrambling to make
Parliament.
nice with Scotland. But here's the problem.
Friggin'
When you haven't been nice to someone
You want
for
your new
1,000
Western
years, it's
just
very
outside
difficult
London.
to suddenly start. For instance, last week, they tried raising the Scottish flag over 10 Downing Street. Watch how that went.
On the roof of Downing Street, on the orders of the Prime Minister no less, a moment of high symbolism. Oh dear, and it's not as though everything was going swimmingly before.
Oh dear.
That's right. Not even English flagpoles can suddenly start treating Scotland with the respect it deserves. Get this flag off me. Get it off. I can't. Get this blue mess off me. And in a last-ditch effort, David Cameron has even tried, like a romantic hero, to turn up at Scotland's door and plead for them. Plead for them not to leave.
I would be heartbroken if this family of nations that we've put together and that we've done such amazing things together. If
Put
this family of
together?
nations
Yeah,
fall
right.
apart.
No!
That's it.
Mm.
That's the best pleading you've got. There are only 4 days left. Look, if I've learned one thing from the last 4 minutes of British romantic comedies, it's that if you're trying to win someone over, you need a big romantic gesture. A kiss in the rain, a kiss in the snow, turning up to someone's door with romantic signs expressing your love for them because you can't say it out loud because her husband, your best friend, is in the next room, which is a bit f***ed up. But it is effective. It's effective. So with that in mind, let's do this. Because right now, Scotland, I'm just a boy standing in front of a nation asking it to continue tolerating me. You want me to show you what I'm willing to do to save this relationship? Here, I will eat some haggis. Look, I'll do it.
Overcooked.
Oh, yeah. Sheep lungs. There are literally sheep lungs in my mouth. Let me just wash that down.
Actually Americanized the haggis. Oh, that's pretty good.
It tastes like a delicious house fire. Look at me, Scotland. I'm drunk on scotch. I'm trying to choke back sheep lung vomit. So kiss me, Scotland. What do you mean this isn't enough? Look. Here's your national animal. I don't even pretend it exists.
Yay.
There it is. Hello, unicorn. Hello. And if that's not enough, I'll make the ultimate sacrifice. Oh yes, that's right. I will feign enjoyment of bagpipe music.
I like bagpipes. Except not when we had to listen to them very early on school days. That was invading.
People ask why Scottish people talk so loud. Do you understand now?
Say that again?
We people ask why Scottish people talk so loud. Do you understand why now? From birth. That sound is in our life from birth. Like you'll be taken to like a parade at the age of 2. No ear protection. That wasn't a thing. And there would be like 17 pipe bands go by. Drums, full bagpipes, like 20 bagpipe players in each band. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No wonder we talk loud. Because we're deaf!
Yeah, right. Like, just this passed down generation to generation.
I've got a really good TV show that you guys need to watch. It was a British TV show, but I think you might still find it funny.
What is it called?
It's called Gone to Pot, and it was basically a load of Gone to Pot. Type it in on YouTube. See if there's a trailer. Gone to Pot. No. Gone to Pot. Yeah, one of 3. The Gone to Pot road trip. That's it there. It's literally all these like old British TV stars that go to LA and just get fucking high shit. You don't have to watch it now. It's like fucking 45 minutes long. But it's fucking hilarious. They basically just go and try all this weed
right.
Get to it super.
I'm signing off. I'll be back tomorrow, because I can go all week. There's no work. It's just stream nights.
No more Bora body, I miss the thotties. I miss the bull jingles down the street from the poppies. Fuck a Cracker Barrel, cause the atmosphere is racial. Remind me of a time that my brothers were enslaved still. Didn't scoop the accent, but perfected on my exit. Carolina cold is the sweetest when I'm present. Goldilocks warm in a suit.